Hello and welcome everyone, and thanks for joining in for today's episode on my channel. For today we actually have planned something rather relaxing, so not too much of an functionality is going to be added for the overall build, but I do want to make it look nicer and actually get a little bit more structured, and therefore we will build a small little garden for today, which I'm quite hyped since I actually do like it when you have more to see and everything gets more interesting. Currently I'm standing on my mob farm, which hopefully you have seen in my last live stream. It is called the Mob Incorporated Mob Farm, and to be honest it actually works like a charm. What I have not shown yet in the last live stream, which I have done offline, is the actual collection system down below. And now if I just enter here, you can see, and here already, that we have now a sorting system in place, and for it I have actually an item elevator, flowing stream, or however you would call it here. And the items actually get sorted in this storage system here below. And actually the storage system is quite overpowered for my needs, but I really wanted to make sure that on the important items I do not overflow by any chance. And since I do not have any problems with the iron, since I have a lot of supply from it from my iron farm, I did not bother with it too much. So as you can see already, the storage systems start to fill in quite a lot, even though I did not do any AFK session yet. So all of this is basically just from digging out the hole a little bit, so the farm is also producing quite fast. Also I have added two peak holes here on each side one, and as you can see currently the farm is not working really fast. As you can see, only one spider is in there, and this is simply due to the fact that I'm quite low and I have not lit up any caves below the farm or on my surroundings. So the mob cap gets filled up with the mobs quite fast, from mobs which just wander around in any caves. And therefore I do have this little AFK chamber up here, which I actually can also enclose, so that phantoms do not kill me. And you get those weird effects here with the shaders, where actually the water is not being displayed in the lazy chunks, but also it's quite interesting to look around and see what you can see actually here. And when I drop now down again and look through the peak holes, you will actually see, hopefully, that the farm is producing mobs and killing mobs quite fast. And also for the other side, if I'm fast enough, basically the same is true. So the farm really works like a charm. And to incorporate the farm a lot nicer, I actually plan now for today's episode that we are going to make this whole platform up here, where we currently only have the sugarcane, a lot nicer. Sorry. So without further ado, I will simply remove all of this here. But before I actually do that, actually I have prepared already something. So in my inventory I have basically all of the goodies which we can grow and I actually want to grow. So all of the foods and stuff. And also I have collected some building blocks so that we do not need to worry about this later on too much. So without further ado, let me just shortly remove all this sugarcane here. So now that we actually have a really good canvas here, we can decide on the pathing, which the actual farm is going to take, or not farm, but the actual garden is going to take. And therefore, for sure, I want to have one straight path going right to the beacon, because that is actually going to be the center hub, which I really want to connect. And therefore we are going to build a bridge probably later on when the build down here is taking more of a shape. And now it's just the idea how wide I actually want to make it. Do I want to have 2 paths going across it or just 1? And to be honest, I think that I only want to have 1 crossing path. I now just also counted how far apart these single sides are, and we actually have 22 blocks across. So we managed to have 2 10-block wide sections on each side and a 2 wide path in the middle, which is actually, in my opinion, quite good looking. So I want to have, yeah, short paths here going out to the left and right. Have not decided yet how wide actually should be in the end. And here in the middle I do want to have like a small little place where, yeah, where it just represents something later on probably. So still not too sure. We could perhaps have a fountain in here in the middle. And if you do have any suggestions or recommendations what you would build here also, which I do not cover, please feel free to just drop me a comment below. I'm very happy to also incorporate your ideas, since I think that actually makes the builds looking much nicer in the long run. So also these sides are now equally far apart. And since I want to have it very symmetrical, I now will place the actual boxes or pots where I do plant my stuff in a very symmetrical order. So I will probably have the biggest in the back, which is for sure going to be the bamboo, then sugarcane in the front here, and then on the front sections here I want to have some rather farming lands and perhaps also some flowers alongside the ways, since I think this one could actually look quite nice. Also, for the bamboo and stuff, I will keep them planted on the floor level. But for the actual crops, I do want to build like a small raised farming bed, if that makes sense to you. Because I think that actually will look a lot nicer in the long run, at least in my opinion. So just deciding how much bamboo I do want to place here. I'm probably going to the middle block here, and perhaps 3 rows in total. And we have 2 here on the side. We can actually make a row of a bush, and then also have a short little walkway around the bamboo garden, which we then will be having some stone bricks or something like that, because I actually also think that would look quite nice. So again, very symmetrical here, which I think will look quite good. We can perhaps make it also as like a Zen garden later on, which also could look quite nice. And now we have planted 48 bamboos, which also, if we do need any in the future, would provide us with a lot of bamboo for scaffolding, for example. Now here I probably want to encase it, as already said, to have it also, like a closed economy here. Same for the other side. Like so. And I think we need some stone bricks. So let's just see how this actually looks like. Whether it looks like a nice pathing or whether it looks a little bit too rubbish for us. Since it still is a little bit flat. So it could be that we actually raise it later on with half slabs just a little bit, so that it actually looks a little bit more dynamic, not as flat as it does currently. But yeah, I think I'm quite fine with that, actually, for the time being. So also we can start to see how actually the oak leaves would look like if we actually place them in like a small little bush row here. And then in the back we can decide whether we want to place the lanterns on top of the bushes or whether we cannot place it on top of the bushes. So that was an easy question. But we could have it like a short little stone wall in the end here so that we have like a wall post where the lamps sit on. And I actually think I'm going to do that. So yes, I actually do like this a lot more. This looks a lot more dynamic and a lot more structured. So I'm also going to do it on the other side. So keeping the symmetrical order. And also the same for the bushes. It actually looks now already like it's something which was planned and not happened on accident. Yeah, with this I actually really like the pathing here. And I think if we enter some iconic centerpiece here, perhaps also a small, very small statue or something like that, that actually will add a lot to the build. And for the back rows here, I actually do want to place now the sugarcane. Since I actually like having at least some supply of sugar canes, just for the convenience. Also, in order to cover up the water, I actually use green carpet, since it blends in with the grass quite okay. Not perfectly, to be honest, but in my opinion, it actually, fits my needs, to be honest. So, if I would not place in the carpet on the floor, it would be a little bit easier also. Yeah, we can actually skip these one out of the inventory. And with this you get, I hang on the idea. And actually we'll have some sort of, hiding spot here where you can then look at all of the other, not the other guys since I'm alone on this world, but imagining that someone was there, you could hide in the bushes and watch them while they are going over passing to your mob farm. So this is some kind of a nice idea. For the front rows, I decided that I want to plant sweet berries there. Since, sweet berries are always nice to have. Oh, that was dumb. Should not have broken it. Probably I will now miss exactly one sweet berry later on. But and I did the same thing here again. But it's so okay, I guess. And we will have enough. Great. So I did not use all of them. I am leaving on each side one place free, since, as you probably know, sweet berries are quite nasty to work with, since they actually will sting you and therefore you will have a bad time. But one thing you can do to prevent this is actually placing just something like a half slab or a trapdoor on top of the sweet berry, and therefore you simply cannot run into these sweet berries. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I will create some dark oak trapdoors. Hopefully, let's see how many we actually do need. Just the problem is that I do not have enough inventory space currently. Should not have taken everything which I did like to have, but we will see how it actually works in the long run. And I now actually really do like how these wildberry bushes here look like, and also that you somehow have the ability to give them more sunlight just to pretend. I think that's quite cool. Next thing I want to add is 2 little cactus places, one on this side and one on the other side over there. And I already prepared the actual holes for it. So now only the cacti need to be placed in. And I just do want to have them in this grid manner. And I will make a path in between so that it actually, I kind of like the idea of it being in a, something like a puddle from, yeah, all of the actually watering the cacti needed to grow until they were at the pace they are. And also later on, if we then somehow need some cacti, this also will provide us with a good starting point, and I actually do not need to worry about cactuses anymore. So that's actually quite nice in my opinion. And I fear we are running out of space on this side of the garden area, and therefore have fun enjoying a short little time lapse of me extending our garden area. So yeah, with that actually, as you probably can already see, a lot more terraforming here is going to be needed. Since also on the underside, to be honest, we should light that one up. Since this one also will... I should not have used my rocket, that was not too... yeah, actually that was not too clever from me. But also if we do not light this one up, actually our mob farm will suffer from it, and that's at least one thing which I really want to avoid by any means. On the sides now, I have placed, yeah, just 2 basic fields where we actually will plant all the crops later on. Have not decided yet which crops they actually will be planted on these 2 spots. But that will come quite naturally once we are so far on the build process. Now to encase them, actually I do want to place around stairs. And I'm just thinking about which stairs actually will match quite good. On the middle we have something very dark, and to the outside I want to make it go lighter and lighter. So probably for the next one I will be using spruce, since for the last one we used the dark oak logs. So just getting some spruce, and then yeah, the inventory really is a little bit of a pain currently, to be honest. But once we use up more of the resources, hopefully it will get a little bit easier to handle and to manage. Okay. So now above the actual farm fields here, I want to place a roof so that also the overall look of the build gets a little bit more dynamic, because to be honest, right at this moment it still is a little flat, and having a roof on top actually makes it at least a little bit nicer. And with this, the base structure is quite well established. And for the tops, I now want to have like 1 spruce log stripped as sort of an anchor. And then I will make a surrounding of the stairs here. And then in the middle, we will have the glass blocks, which hopefully then also will look good and not look too shabby. Since having glass blocks, and unfortunately having a good glass roof not always is very easy to conduct, since most of the time it starts to look a little bit wonky. because you actually do not have it like a small flat window, but rather than a very big chunky block. And this often looks a little bit not too good. So I'm very curious how it actually will look like once we have done it. Now from the crops perspective, only the melons and pumpkins are missing. And to be honest, I do not want to stress melons and pumpkins too much, which is why I only will place 4 of each. So 4 pumpkins and 4 melons on these sides, and also the same for sure on the other side to have it symmetrical again. And then I want to encase it, that actually looks a little bit nicer, since to be honest, in my opinion, it does not look too nice how melons and pumpkins are growing. And therefore I just shortly will, encase them here. And probably I will also, place them once further, since this actually will then, once the melons are grown, also encase them. But I'm not too sure about that one yet. Perhaps I will remove the outside ones as again. I think so, yes, since it looks a little bit wide in my opinion. But I will make it stripped, since this one actually looks good. At least in my opinion, it does that. And also we'll place some on top so that we can hide them even further, and also prevent mobs from jumping onto the melons and therefore killing them later. So with this I'm quite happy about it, and we actually only need to wait until these crops here have fully grown in, and also already created it on the other side so that we have it very symmetrical. In between, for the wildberry bushes, for sure mobs could spawn here. Hence, I am considering whether we should add some light sources here, but I'm not too sure about it yet. Also, looking at the crop field currently, I'm actually quite satisfied with how it actually came out so far. And to be honest, perhaps we do not need any light sources in between. I want to, as said, add something in the middle, but yeah, let me go to sleep before we do actually anything about that. And also we're missing the trees. Now that also some trees are added into the complete build, I'm actually very satisfied with the overall looks. It looks very clean, and it incorporates the mob spawner very much in my opinion. And at this moment, just would ask you to also tell me what you think about the complete build. And I will just shortly walk you through it. And yes, I'm standing on a pillar of dirt, usually, to get these shots. So also one thing which definitely needs some work later on is all this mess here. So I probably will just encapsulate it and make it a little bit nice and incorporated, and also will build some paths over here and basically crossing all of it, since I really think this makes the overall build look a lot better. So the crops are all fully grown and nice looking. Also the bamboo is fully grown and the cacti are fully grown. Also really like how the wild berries just incorporate themselves. And then passing through also on the other side, there's also now a forest. And the path just ends here, right, and nothing. Which then will link up to over the part over here. And to be honest, the overall build comes to true beauty once you turn on shaders. Well, I had shaders on before, but actually I think it has something really calming when the last sun rays just are striking through the gardening. And therefore I just really enjoy watching the overall build. Now only need to be cautious that no creeper will blow us up. And now we will also have the moon rays. So with this, thanks everyone for watching today's video. I will give you a few more minutes, or probably just seconds, viewing the actual garden here and different sceneries. Please tell me in the comment section below what you actually think of this build, and if you have any suggestion what I should build in the future. And other than that, I wish you all a great day. See you soon and bye.